Good evening.
Do you want to give us your name and address when you get that adjusted?
Sure. Good evening. My name is Mike.
It is
No,
on.
no, I'm ready. You break it, you own it. You replace it.
Is it working?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Mike Pissarro. I'm the Policy Director for the Stony Brook Millstone Watershed Association. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to speak on this ordinance. And in general, this watershed supports clustering. Sure, I'm sorry. In general, we support clustering. We support this ordinance. We think it provides a myriad of benefits to the community and to the environment. Not necessarily particularly supporting any particular plan, but the idea of clustering. Clustering leaves a large portion of a property undeveloped as open space. Clustering consolidates impervious cover, which leaves open space and provides a greater opportunity for that land to absorb pollutants, rainwater, and reducing flooding and water pollution. It maintains environmental resources, trees, wetlands, streams. It reduces the infrastructure, which reduces impervious cover. As Mr. Cohen noted, though, the ordinance as proposed and as currently existed doesn't really specifically mention wetlands as being one of those resources that does not count. So I would recommend that to be specifically added. I think the ordinance very clearly discounts environmental resources as part of the buildable area for a density bonus, but I think it could be even clearer by providing examples and also making sure that the lot is really buildable and not just a concept. For example, under the current, so under the current flood hazard rules, if a subdivision occurs now and you could build a house on it without incurring into the riparian zone and the stream buffer, but after the subdivision, you now are building two houses but need to incur into the riparian zone, the rules wouldn't allow it. But I wanted to make sure the ordinance and the way the township, municipality interprets it doesn't ignore those facts. And then just lastly, a question, when you're looking at the amount of open space that's being dedicated, that a stormwater management basin isn't considered part of the open space. The concept plan sort of has that in the open space, so I just wanted to make sure that that is a factor that is not going into the calculations of open space, because that is a necessity, that is an infrastructure that the development requires. And so to get a benefit of open space and to sort of have that double counted doesn't seem to really give the benefits that the cluster ordinance seems to be requiring of the township. But I'd like to thank you for this opportunity, and we support.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because when I looked at this plan, this is the underlying zoning is 4 acres, which is huge. And it seems, when I look at this, it seems to me like the cluster plan is actually going to be more disruptive of the environment, because all of those lots are probably going to have grass, they're going to be all landscaped. Whereas and there's going to be 30 of them, whereas the 4-acre zone, usually people put a house on there and they don't even try. If you look at in Princeton and in those huge 4-acre lots, most of the people leave their property natural. And so that seems like it might be less environmentally impactful. I just wondered what your opinion on that is.
That's why I say, I'm not endorsing a particular development plan. Clustering in general is better, especially...
But even in 4-acre zoning versus half-acre?
Well, as the township, I keep doing that, municipal professionals mentioned, you have a bunch of public infrastructure that needs to go in there, whether it be water, sewer, streets, there's that. The development generally on large lots tends to compact soils significantly, So the lawns that you do have, even if you are leaving part of it, are extremely compacted. So you're not really getting a recharge rate or infiltration that you would if you the open space. Again, you could probably have a cluster development built that is horrible. And that's why the devil's are in the details of the plan itself. But in general, moving things away from the resources, if you have a large lot development that is coming right up against transition areas for wetlands, you're still impacting those wetlands. So the farther you can move away from those, the better. The more open space that you have that has not been subject to development, the better you have of stormwater flowing through that, slowing it down, not hitting the streams as quickly as if you would on a compacted lots, or as a lot of developments are, or channeling it straight to the storm sewers and straight out to the streams. So
But you're saying it's compacted even on 4 acres? I mean, how does it get compacted?
You're running the equipment to it. You're putting
So just like
building
right around the building and on the driveway?
getting it to the building area. So there are ways to do it so you don't, but you're still losing mature trees. You're still compacting more of the soil than you probably would otherwise. You are impacting wetlands. Even if you're staying out of the buffers, you're still closer than a cluster development may allow you to be. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.